eternal optimist. So please, God, don't
God
that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Packers star edge Micah Parsons, one of the best defenders in the NFL, has in fact suffered a torn ACL. His MRI has just confirmed. Now, this is what it appeared last night. Talked to people close to Micah Parsons, talked to people close to the Packers. This is what they thought immediately. And if you actually looked right at Parsons' face, right when the injury happened, you could see him mouth the words, "I'm out," knowing that his season was unfortunately over. Still got plenty of star power on that defense, but no Micah Parsons for the foreseeable future. He's out for the season, faces a 9-month recovery, which means he'll be right up against the start of the 2026 season for the Packers.
Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, stating the obvious. We're aware. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
We know. Yeah. Okay, we get it. We got it. He's out.
We knew that before the end of the game.
We did. The Lockman test proved it. We talked about that yesterday. And Dr. Mike Ryan reminded us yesterday in our chat with him on December 5th that the player knows too, and that's what Ian said. On the field, you could immediately see Micah Parsons' mouth. I'm out. He knew it.
Yep, that's it for me.
He went on social media yesterday and shared a picture of a lion with one eye, kind of banged up.
Mm-hmm.
The king of the jungle is on the IR for a minute or 9 months.
A little bit longer than a minute.
We'll be all right. Everything's going to be fine. Not going to do. Okay, yesterday I did. Not going to do today what everybody thinks I'm going to do and continue to freak out. We got to move on. That's the way this has to go. And that's what we're going to do today. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are also live on Twitter and YouTube, if you so cared to join us here to see our faces and say hello. Make sure to join us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line as well. 414-677-1250 as we get you caught up on some headlines, some pieces of your favorite teams and stories from the state of Wisconsin yesterday. First, those Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Micah Parsons out for the season. We can't sit and dwell on that, though. There's games left. A first-place game this coming weekend. As in, like, we could win the division pretty much if we beat the Bears this weekend. So it's easy to drown in our own tears, or we got to figure out how we can make this work. Later in the show, Matt Schneidman joins us from The Athletic. He shared yesterday on social media The Athletic's little NFL playoff picture, predictor.
Yeah.
91% the Packers to make the playoffs right now. Just to make the playoffs. 42% to host the wild card, 49%. That's how they figure it all in. They figure all those things in, and at the end of the day, 91% are their chances to make the playoffs. Or, in simpler terms, the Packers would absolutely have to implode not to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we talked with Andy Herman yesterday as well, and he kind of laid it out as to make the playoffs, the Packers have to win one more game.
Pretty much.
If they want to win the division, they have to beat the Bears and then win another game.
Yeah,
right?
This little playoff predictor is kind of interesting. The change scenario has the options of make the playoffs, win the division, get a wild card, and then all the different seeds. To win the division, they absolutely have to beat the Bears. And let's just click on beat the Vikings, and let's just hypothetically say they lost to the Ravens. We have an 80% chance to win the division. That's because those pesky Lions are still hanging around as well. And if, let's be real, a lot would have to go wrong for the Lions and the Bears to overcome the Packers, if indeed the Packers beat the Bears and the Vikings and essentially won 2 out of the next 3. which is going to be difficult. This we understand. We saw no report yesterday on anything specific for Christian Watson, although didn't Dad say that it's going to be okay? And Rob Domofsky, I believe, came out with something that said this is not a major deal.
Right. There was no indication that Christian Watson was going to play in this very pivotal game on Saturday, but there's a chance, meaning that the injury that he sustained in the game in Denver was not bad enough that he's going to miss the rest of the season. It seems like even if he can't play against the Bears, he should be ready against the Ravens. That's what I'm going to take away from there, saying there's a chance he could play on Saturday, that no matter what, he should be back before the end of the season.
And believe it or not, the Packers had a defense prior to Micah Parsons. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, but at last I checked, half of the team is on the defense-ish, half-ish, and they were actually at training camp.
Yeah, I can't wait for this conversation that we're going to have in the morning mind dump at 7, because we definitely have differing opinions on that outlook.
Who were the Packers pre-Micah Parsons, and what did that team accomplish without him? We'll dive into that. So the Packers have to absolutely implode to miss the playoffs. I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying that that's what would have to happen in order for this to go completely sideways. I thought it was really cool. Yesterday, the Brewers started putting out these fun tweets highlighting the best moments of 2025. Here's the audio from the piece they put out yesterday.
Oh, he tied him up. Scissor piece. Pitching ninja. Fire it up. Oh, man. Back-to-back strikeouts. A 3-on-3 down inning. How about that reaction by the Miz?
Our guy BA on the call on FanDuel Sports. What did he say there? Scissor something?
Yeah, I don't even. I
There's a
heard
lot.
that. I was like, what? And then he called out Pitching Ninja, which is a Twitter account that like highlights just nasty pitches.
It was Brewers at Twins, June 20th, 2025, Target Field. The Miz struck out Willie Castro in the bottom of the first on a 95.5-mile-an-hour slider that literally, go and find it, corkscrewed Castro into the dirt. Literally put him in crisscross applesauce. He swung so hard, so late, that his body just literally sat him down as if he was playing Duck, Duck, Goose. I mean, that's...
Yeah, take a seat.
Just be here. Getting up from that is the worst.
Oh yeah. That's a tough walk back to the dugout.
Yeah. Your fellow teammates, don't let you forget about that one. Very easy.
No.
I wrote down, Josh, what's your favorite moment of 2025? Granted, I think we're going to have to think about this a little bit because there was a lot of really good moments.
Total? Or...
Yeah, I mean, if you had to pick a moment, or maybe we can put together our top 5 moments or something like that. But I mean, that's what the Brewers are doing. They're going through the best moments of 2025, and there's a long list to choose from.
So Brewers related, or just in general, Wisconsin sports throughout the year?
Well, this is Brewers. I mean, the topic is Brewers, and they're putting out the Brewers' best of 2025.
Yeah, I mean, beating the Cubs. I mean,
but they're saying specific moment. If you could dial it down to this moment, like for instance, the Miz striking out Willie Castro and him spinning himself into the dirt. That's a moment in time.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, and I'm not expecting you to have an answer right now, because frankly, I don't either.
I have one.
The moment for you?
I think just gut reaction, not thinking about it, is probably McGill in that game when he comes in the first inning, and which is so crazy and weird. But you saw all series long how the Cubs kept scoring in the first, and so seeing Murph go just completely off of what is supposed to happen and bringing McGill in to start the game, and then his energy and being like, "We're gonna win," as he walks off the mound. Yeah, sure. That was electric.
There's got to be one moment, and I'd have to go back and look. Whatever the moment is, was it game 1, Josh, that we were at, Cubs Brewers, where they just relentless in the first inning?
Yeah.
There's got to be a moment in there that I remember looking at you. You were crying, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, it might have been the Contreras. One of Contreras' hit that like kept the whole thing alive.
Double down the left field line, I think. Nuts.
Good times.
Good moments. Packers, Brewers, Badgers. We go next. Wisconsin volleyball. God bless you. Kentucky on Thursday, 8 p.m. ESPN. Here is Coach Kelly Sheffield on not wanting this whole thing to end.
We're excited to still be playing. I'm excited to still be with these guys. Love this team. Love how far this team has gone. I mean, they have grown so incredibly much from the beginning of this season. And I know nobody wants this thing to end. So except me talking right now, I'm sure.
He's a soft-spoken guy.
Yeah.
I actually reached out to the Badgers yesterday as if they had nothing going on. And I was like, hey,
busy. Coach
available by chance to jump on the radio with us? They responded almost instantly. Patrick Herb, amazing.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe. And maybe not.
It was the 20th maybe he'd sent in 5 minutes.
Badgers volleyball, Thursday. They actually leave today. They head down to Kansas City, Missouri for the Final Four. That's on ESPN, 8 p.m. on Thursday. The Bucks, listen, this is not a good sign, Josh. And I know you know more.
Do we have to talk about the Bucks?
Kinda. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. Anything else? That's what we talked about in this first segment.
All right.
127-82. We mentioned it yesterday, and that was pretty much it. And here we are mentioning it again. However, I was unaware, as were the majority of us, because this game happened on Sunday, and we had bigger fish to fry, with all due respect to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Correct.
This ended badly.
So the Bucks are going to wave the white flag. The Bucks go scoreless over the last 6 minutes and change in that fourth quarter. Steve Hetzel filling in for Jordy Fernandez leads the Nets to their biggest blowout victory of the year, a 127-82 emphatic win over the Milwaukee Bucks.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it was literally the worst Bucks game I can remember seeing in a long time. Like in a long time. But something has to happen. I can't believe Doc's still coaching this team. That's not a player problem. That's a coaching problem.
That is. To not score in the last 6+ minutes of a game.
Yeah, that's pure motivation issues.
Whose head needs to roll? You think it's Doc? Not a specific. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that going to happen, you think?
I don't know. I'm so up in the air, confused on this Bucks team, period. But yeah, I don't. If the Bucks legitimately are going to make a change, try to do something. Reports now coming out saying that they're trying to build more around Giannis. That they're not letting go of Giannis. They're going to build around him. It's not going to matter who you put there if that's the motivation and the energy and the message being sent to the team by your coaching staff. Can't have it. Got to switch that up. And what better time than right now?
At some point in the last 6 minutes, when things were, I don't know, scoreless for 3 minutes, you might go, hey, what's up? What's happening?
Yeah.
Did the players give up, or was it just awful?
It sure seemed like they give up. Even the worst Bucks team should be able to score a basket in the last 6 minutes. Something, especially when they're down that much. It's not like, the Nets are out there still fighting for something. They know they have the game in the bag. It was just embarrassing.
And for the broadcast to say that the Bucks have waved the white flag, that's how we feel too.
Yeah, I think that was the message being sent for more than just that game.
So as a Bucks fan, Josh, how quick do we need something to change? How quick do you want?
2 weeks ago.
Well, sure. And is it, so you're saying it's too late now, but something's got to give.
Yeah. This is the rebuild year. This is you don't wait until the offseason. Get a new coach in there now, see what they can do, have someone else coaching this team to give a positive light, and then let the front office and figure out what they're going to do.
I think they're going to blow the whole thing up. I think they're going to let Doc go. They're going to trade Giannis, and they're literally looking at this as a rebuild now. This season's too far gone already to think that they're going to recover from this, even when Giannis comes back. The dark cloud is there.
Yeah.
And I don't think building around Giannis at this point in the season with a team that's waving the white flag against the Nets and losing 127-82, chalk it up.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in your camp. I'm not with trading out.
Wait.
But with the
exactly 15 minutes into this show, I'm in your camp. Make sure we got to grab that.
Why?
I think that's the first time you've ever said you were in my camp.
Ah, well, then I take it back.
Okay, take back Tuesday.
Yeah, I can take it back today.
That was too fast.
I think that this season's done, and they got to just focus on next season. But focusing on next season includes making changes now. Don't just let this continue for the rest of the season. Can't have that.
Yeah, they're going to have some fan problems pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
In the Fiserv.
Absolutely.
It is a day like every other day. We have questions, and we are talking about these Saturday night games. I have questions about this.
Yeah.
Last I checked, football is on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays, and now Saturdays too. It's just too much. But I'll explain the theory there and get to your questions as well. The most electrifying sound of the day comes from last night. It somehow has to do with Wisconsin because that's what we promise you. We'll do that at about 6:45 this morning. 7 o'clock is the morning mind dump. We want to talk about what the Packers defense looked like prior to Micah Parsons. And is there anything that we can hang our hats on so as to let go of such worry and frustration now that Micah Parsons is out the rest of the year? It's a Take Back Tuesday at 7:25. If you have some of the things that you wish to take back, maybe not, 414-677-1250. You are welcome to get them in now. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line. I may not have any.
Wow.
I know.
I do.
I'm pretty good. I may not in the last week have said or done anything other than knocking over our Christmas tree that I wish I could take back.
Well, the segment's not until 7:25, so you might say something in the next hour that you'll want to take back before that.
I would take the over on that. That's for sure. That's definitely going to happen. Also, what does the offense need to look like the rest of the season? There's been a lot of conversation since Sunday on what the defense needs to look like based on Micah and the things going on there and the injuries that they've had in the front four specifically. But let's think about the offense for a second because there's still a lot of things going well for the offense. We'll kind of break down what the offense didn't do this past weekend that they cannot afford not to do this coming weekend. On 8 o'clock, I read a sentence that is hard for me to understand because it has the word realism in it.
Yeah.
Optimistic versus realistic for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this is a really tough time for fans. And I was listening to the show that follows ours, 9 to noon with Kuhn and Rami and Brandon. And there's a lot of confusion and emotions running wild on how to approach the rest of the season from different mindsets for fans. And so we're going to talk about it at 8 o'clock.
After that, Matt Schneidman from the Athletic and the Tundra podcast joins us at 8:25. And then, of course, we'll end the show with What's Up, Wisconsin. We hope you join us for the next 2.5-ish hours here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We also want you to join us this Friday at Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha presents the Brat Bowl 3 at the world-famous Brat Stop in Kenosha. An all-day live event starting at 9 a.m., 670 The Score from Chicago and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, featuring all your favorite on-air talent. Bring your new or gently used coats to donate to Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha's annual coat drive. They bring you Brat Bowl 3 this Friday, 9 a.m., the iconic Brat Stop in Kenosha, brought to you by Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha. For a great experience, visit ZieglerKenoshaSubaru.com and by Siding Unlimited. Visit SidingUnlimited.com for their honest price guarantee. I have questions is next. There are questions.
Endless amounts of questions.
Yeah, we asked a lot of questions yesterday. I want to make sure that we don't just sit on the negative. Shocker, I know. But I also don't understand these Saturday games, plus yours. All right, that's next. We're inside Wisconsin Sports live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hey, remember, if you missed any portion of the show, open up your podcast platform, your favorite one on your phone, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search Inside Wisconsin Sports. There we are. We'll pop up. You can jump to any highlight, any hour, or just watch and listen, not watch, but listen to the show and get caught up on all things. You can watch it on YouTube if you missed one as well. You can go back and find that there, or Twitter at WI Sports Radio. We're Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor and Josh.
Hi.
Follow us on Twitter at OnAirJosh, at Inside Wis Sports, at Trevor Thomas IW, at WI Sports Radio. There's a lot going on Twitter.
It's true.
You never know what you're going to get. Kind of like this segment. Josh, I have questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. Josh and I are big WWE guys. Last night, Monday Night Raw, that I Have Questions, Burn It Down segment reminded me you were supposed to watch Monday Night Raw last night. Did you?
I did.
Look at you.
For the majority of it.
Okay.
And then
What'd you miss?
I had to stop because I was frustrated.
Oh,
before we get to the initial reactions, if you're like, I don't really know what's going on. The big thing that happened on Saturday of this last weekend was John Cena had his last match, his retirement match, and spoiler alert, he lost to Gunther via tap out.
He gave up.
He gave up. The man who spent his entire career saying never give up, being the message beyond the ring to fans, little kids, battling cancer, going through tough times, saying never give up, I never give up. He gave up. It was a terrible look, in my opinion, that he gave up. I think that everyone thought if he was going to be the traditionalist wrestler in their final match, which is to lose, a lot of people think you should win, going out, but that's kind of an homage, the passing of the torch.
Yeah, Triple H talked about that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched wrestling for a while, you know that's just how it goes. You lose your last match, but it didn't have to be in that fashion. He could have just passed out. He could have just lost by a 3 count. To have it go even further than that and have him give up was rough. And it did, at the end of that night, put a lot of heat, meaning a lot of people were very angry with Gunther, who beat him. So you have Gunther come out and open Monday Night Raw last night. And let me tell you, I could not have been more disappointed in how that went. They have him come out. He says, I made John Cena give up. Boo.
We know.
Leaves the ring. Then comes back. Goes, more booing. Leaves. Comes back. More booing. No one ever comes out to say, hey, we hate you. It doesn't build to a new storyline of someone defending John. He goes into the back. The rest of the WWE wrestlers are mad at him. Yeah, we don't like that you did that. No one fights him. They just let him walk on by, and he leaves the arena. What?
Wait, did you miss? Did you miss that part? Wait. You missed something there.
What?
Did you not see the confrontation he had on the way outside?
Yeah. What, before he drove away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing happened.
There's a storyline there.
Okay. No, there's not. AJ Styles was standing there.
There is.
AJ Styles was standing there and then let him get in his car and leave. It was to me, it was the biggest.
But that was the storyline, buddy. There's a storyline between AJ Styles and Gunther coming.
No. Okay. Sure. Maybe if you have AJ Styles punch his window in as he drives away, having him just stand there and then move out of the way is another sign of defeat. It doesn't build up anything. And to me, it immediately made the heat that Gunther had start fading away. And we're all going to look back on John Cena's final moment, and it's going to suck. And let me tell you, on top of that, the WWE posted this really great video of this kid who's battling cancer, who beat cancer 3 times. 3 times they rang the bell. And he got to meet John Cena, watch John Cena's last match in the front row, and see him give up. Good look. And then WWE says, let's highlight this and put this out. All the comments are, yeah, and then that kid had to go, oh, there's my hero giving up. We sauce WWE. Get it together.
Did you see the end?
Of with them revealing the masked man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the truth either.
Oh, I think so.
I think there's a lot going on here that got shoved down WWE's throat based on Seth Rollins' injury. None of this was in the cards. Then that happened, and they kind of had to scramble. I don't know. I think there's a little bit more going on than you let more off on. But anyway, as we were, Wisconsin. So Saturday night.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that these Saturday night games have been going on a long time. That I understand. Like, we're going back to the 1950s. What I don't understand is why the NFL thinks that Saturday night, specifically during the holidays, is when you put these primo games. This is me complaining that I have something going on for Christmas the next 2 Saturdays.
Yeah.
Dude, when I watch Packer games, I sit down with my laptop on my lap and I take notes and I grab audio and I do Twitter updates. I literally live tweet my thoughts during the game. I can't do that the next 2 weeks. And I'm annoyed.
I mean, you can. You can.
Can't.
Oh.
I literally can't.
It's weird. It's weird that the NFL didn't reach out to you specifically before they schedule these games to make sure that you were free. They've been doing it forever. And to be honest with you, if you want to be a fan and not have to worry about your team being in prime time, then cheer for a team that isn't good. I mean, that's the difference. These games were decided to be Saturday night games because the Packers, up until the game against Denver, which, you know, these decisions were made before all of these injuries, they were the team to watch. From a national standpoint. It was this Packers team is Super Bowl bound. Everyone pay attention. And so that's why they were slotted there.
Yeah, and it makes sense. They're still the team to watch. This game, specifically this weekend, is the game of the week. There's no doubt about it, which was not flexed. Nope. I would like everybody to know that. It was simply scheduled.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely jacked for that about a month ago when they announced that.
How dare you?
7:20 Saturday night on Fox, Bears, Packers. That's this Saturday.
Yep.
Pink Flamingo Christmas party on Saturday.
Hey, what better time?
Probably going to rewatch the game on Sunday to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week. They announced earlier that the December 27th game, a home game on Saturday night against the Ravens, is now scheduled for 7 p.m. Okay. Guess who has 2 thumbs in a family gift exchange on the 27th?
All right. I'm just got to ask, do you not watch football games when you're having like holiday parties or family over? Like, to me, when I heard that, because we're also doing something on the 27th, I was like, oh, great. Okay. We can have the game on. That'll buy us some time to where we're not awkwardly staring at each other.
I don't know if you have the ADHD like I have the ADHD, but if there's 2 things going on at once, I am either in on one thing or in on the other thing. Sure. I cannot be in on both things.
Gotcha.
And that's how I have to watch Packer games. I have to be in on that Packer game. And I'm not complaining about the things we have going on. I love those events. They're events I look forward to for 11 and a half months. This is not me complaining about those events. This is me complaining that there's not enough ADHD medication in the world for me to, which I don't take any, by the way, but I digress.
Oh, you should look into it.
Well, I've heard it's good things.
Yeah. It's great.
I've also heard it makes you have significant tunnel vision.
They can do that too. Yeah.
What do you want? What are we doing? What are we going? What do we want to see? Anyway, I have to at least look at this and go, man, it's going to be a great atmosphere. This is how I loved watching Packer games before you and I started doing a morning radio show.
Sure.
But now I have all the things.
But this is why I'm actually a fan of these games on Saturdays, because you can just enjoy it. You don't have to get up 5 hours later and do a radio show. You have all of Sunday to go back, watch, analyze, take notes. If the Packers lose, it also gives you a day to calm down before the show on Monday. And if they win, we're still going to be partying on Monday. I'm absolutely fine with a Saturday night game. Absolutely fine.
What questions do you have, Josh?
My big question was about WWE, but we talked about that enough. Also, I appreciate everyone on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line that was chiming in, giving their thoughts on this. There was one person who texted in that was like, "You're going to talk about wrestling?" And then there were like 15 people that texted in. And they were like, "I thought the same thing. This isn't the blah, blah, blah," going through it. Anyway, I want to get to this guy in the 920 on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line who had his question of, can we all admit that the Nixon experiment has failed? I feel like I could get off my couch running a 5.540 and still beat him with a double move for a big gain. I don't know. Maybe you could. I couldn't.
I think the secondary experiment has failed. And yes, Keyshawn Nixon is definitely a part of that. We're going to get to this in the morning mind dump today, but who are the Packers without Micah Parsons on defense? And who were they before? And what were we really banking on happening this season? Keyshawn Nixon, remember, CB1s don't do kickoff returns.
Correct. Yeah.
One interception, and I did not do the research on how many he's blown. That's the problem with Keyshawn Nixon, though. Just when you think he's toast, he goes and redeems himself and kind of makes you forget about what he didn't do earlier in the game.
Yeah, it's almost like if early in the game he makes a mistake, it's almost a good thing because it means you're going to see something from him later on. It's when you don't hear anything from him all game where it's like, yeah, he just didn't have that great of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it failed? Maybe, maybe not. I want one more season with him, I think, back there. I feel like something needs to be dialed in. I feel like he is mouthy beyond his abilities. Is that a good way to put that, Josh? He talks more than he should based on his play.
Yes. I think that's the biggest issue with him is if you're going to talk a big game, you got to back it up. And very rarely is Keyshawn Nixon backing it up.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law fan talking text line.
920 chimes in with their question, says, does anyone else see the difference of Caleb Williams when the pocket collapses versus Jordan Love when the pocket collapses? We have a big problem in the NFC North.
That's them saying that Caleb Williams is better when the pocket collapses than Jordan Love?
I will say in the game.
Is that what they're saying, though?
That's what I took from it.
Okay.
But I believe in the Packers-Bears round one, I think that Caleb Williams performed better scrambling out of the pocket and having to make those throws at the last second. It looked like Jordan Love was throwing it away or was just off target a little bit. Here's the thing that people got to remember. We haven't been talking about his shoulder in a while. You're scrambling and you're throwing against your body on the run. You might not be as accurate. This team is banged up, people.
You just said that really well, Josh. Jordan Love has been off target a little bit. We're going to talk extensively about that at 7:45, but that's part of the problem. Caleb Williams, which, by the way, I think this is kind of funny. We're judging how Caleb Williams is out of the pocket versus Jordan Love when we were the ones that had the defensive pressure to make Caleb Williams have to scramble. So there's a win in this piece in regards to why Caleb Williams had to be running around to begin with. If you look back on those plays, yes, Caleb Williams made some decent throws, but the people that he was throwing it to made incredible
catches.
plays.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Well, and I think that I remember after the first game, we all kind of joked that it's better to try to keep Caleb Williams in the pocket. He'll probably be less accurate if you keep him in the pocket. Well, the problem is that now without Micah Parsons, you worry, yeah, he'll be able to spend all day in the pocket because no one's going to get to him. That's not a good thing either.
Maybe, maybe not. That's the question. There was a pass and a catch in last night's game that is within 3 degrees of cheese. We think everything in the world, literally everything in the world, is 3 degrees or less connected back to Wisconsin. This one's fairly easy to connect the dots, but you might not think about the last time these dots connected, and that absolutely has to do with the Green Bay Packers. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Rogers won't go away. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network across the state of Wisconsin. Good morning to our friends in Wausau on 93.9 The Game, all the way up in Duluth, Superior, 710 The Game. Good morning to all of you. We'll go down south, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee, and where I am here in Green Bay, 99.7 FM WNFL. Time for today's most electrifying sound of the day.
It's time for
The most electrifying
sound of the day.
The most electrifying
On Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
in 18.
Try to go to the air here. Rogers end zone's got his man. Touchdown, Marquez Valdez Scantling.
And that Rogers to MVS touchdown is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Man, that sure sounded familiar, almost as if, you know, you might have heard it before. I don't know where.
Rogers. Pass caught. Valdez Scantling. Touchdown, Packers. And Aaron Rodgers comes running in to hug the guy. He is dying to get back into the mix.
Yeah, dying to get back so much that he was throwing it to him again 4 years later. That was crazy, man.
December 19th, 2021. Packers at Ravens. Aaron Rodgers touchdown pass to Marquez Valdez Scantling. Shockingly, both with Joe Buck on the call.
Yeah. Buck and Aikman back on the call last night. Obviously, 2021, they weren't with ESPN yet. So it just happens to be that way. It's a lot of highlights for the Packers.
We can't get away from those guys.
Buck and Aikman.
We can't get away from Rodgers.
I was just curious out there. A little question here to finish the hour. So, you know, with all the Packers news, that was not great news that happened in the last 48 hours. How did it make Packers fans feel seeing their former quarterback throwing to a former Packers wide receiver for a different team with a tutty fighting for a playoff spot? That make anyone happy? Sad? Make you feel anything?
Indifferent. I am indifferent on very few things in life. This one, I am absolutely indifferent on. And I know damn well that if we make it to the Super Bowl, it will be against that fellow.
Really?
I think so. It's just the way this year's going to play out. You know it.
That would be...
You can see it.
That would be nuts.
I'm not asking for it, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I don't know. It was definitely interesting to watch last night. And I don't know. I didn't mind it. I was kind of like, yeah, that used to be in the green and gold.
Weird. But let's be honest. He's been having guys from his past follow him all around. Whenever he's at a different team, it's how can I get my guys from Green Bay, whoever they may be, to be back in my mix?
For some reason, though, like when he'd throw one to Alan Lazard or even, you know, when him and Devontae were playing together for the Jets, it just didn't feel the same. And I think it's because the teams were never in a playoff hunt. And so it was like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is just over there having fun with his old buddies. And this one was, yeah, you're in a tight match against the Dolphins and who's the other one? The Ravens. And that touchdown mattered. And we saw Aaron Rodgers throw one that mattered to a former Packer.
If the Ravens beat the Packers, does that ruin the Steelers' playoff chances? This is how much I follow the AFC. 0%.
No, because the Steelers winning last night put them a game ahead. So essentially, as I understand it, the Ravens and Packers, the Ravens need to win that game to stay alive, not take over. Unfortunately, and I was hoping that it was going to be the Ravens game wasn't going to matter because if I was hoping that the Ravens would come to Green Bay and they'd already been eliminated. And then it'd be, well, we might as well sit Lamar. Who cares?
Yeah. Angry Lamar is not good for the Packers.
Or desperate Lamar because the season's on the line isn't better either.
There's a hot take on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. We want this person to bookmark this thought because this could very well come up in conversation when we talk about the Packers-Bears game on Monday. Williams is better out of the pocket and on the run than he is in the pocket. Josh, you found that fascinating because there's a theory here that he may not have to scramble as much this weekend.
Yeah, that was a big highlight for Caleb Williams fans on last week or 2 weeks ago, was that he was forced out of the pocket a lot, and he made some really good throws, as we mentioned to begin the show. This time, I don't know that he's going to be forced out of the pocket a whole lot. And so I think he's either going to have even more time to throw the ball, or if he's scrambling out of the pocket to make those type of throws, he's doing it on his own. I think one of the biggest changes we're going to see as Packers fans this week is that pocket ain't collapsing anywhere near as quick as it used to.
Of Caleb Williams' dropbacks so far this season, how many times per dropback do you think he has to scramble? I mean, I know that's broad, but what percentage of his dropbacks, Josh, do you think he's forced to scramble on? Because those are the highlights that we see.
Yeah.
But it's not much. What do you think?
I would guess it's higher than, I would say, like 35 to 40%.
6.7%.
No way.
So to that point, though, he makes a ton of plays when he's scrambling. There was one against the Browns this weekend that was stupid. His touchdown throw as he was scrambling right, and all of a sudden the receiver comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was all over Twitter yesterday. I mean, the angle on that was incredible. But that's what this online stat said after a quick research project. 6.77 of Caleb Williams' dropbacks end in a scramble.
That's wild. I would have thought it's much more.
I think he does a lot when he's scrambling. And he doesn't get sacked when he's scrambling very often. It doesn't end poorly is my point. And that's not something I think they're going to have to worry about. I mean, we're going to dive in coming up next about what this Packers defense looked like pre-Micah Parsons. And if there's anything, I mean, we're drawing straws, right? Grabbing for anything we can get our hands on to make us confident in the Packers defense going into this game against the Bears. There's some things, however, that's not how you feel. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. We're gonna talk about it, but I'm not positive about the outlook of this team. You said yesterday, hey, they had a game plan of what this team was going to be before Micah Parsons. Time to brush that off. I don't think that argument holds up.
They found it. I found it. We'll see if it holds up or not. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250 at 7 o'clock. Every time we do this show, we call it the Morning Mind Dump. It's your opportunity to get the things that are on your chest off, the voices that are in your head out. The coffee is kicked in. We're ready to go on a Tuesday morning across the state of Wisconsin on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. What say you? We'll dive in next. All things Packers defense. Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Parsons transformed this Packer defense overnight. It will be very hard to replace his impact. You look at the sack numbers, and they are one part of the story, but they are by no means the whole story. Micah Parsons had 66 pass rush wins this year, one less than the next 5 players on his team combined.
Uh-oh.
Don't like that.
No, that's not a good stat. That's Mike Greenberg from Get Up on ESPN yesterday morning as they were processing the inevitable news that came out yesterday that indeed Micah Parsons tore his ACL and is out the rest of the season and maybe back right as the season next year starts. Alas, we need to move on because there are games left in the playoffs near. Good morning, Wisconsin. We are Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for the morning mind dump. Let's go.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the morning mind dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. We had our pity party yesterday. That's what I call it. We get a day to just live in the suck. Not a great day yesterday.
No.
We came out of the gate and we're like, oh, goody. Great. Good, great, grand. No yelling on the bus. And now today we have to move on. There is an important game this Saturday and 2 more important games after that. The Packers have everything they've asked for right in front of them. It's still there for the grasping, or is it? And that's part of the morning mind dump this morning. Josh and I want to know, who were the Packers pre-Micah Parsons? What did that team accomplish without him? And what are areas that the Packers maybe accidentally became codependent on Micah Parsons for? Mm-hmm. So I clearly have a take, Josh, but I want you to go first because you don't agree with my take, even though you don't know what it is, I don't think.
Well, and that's true. I don't. But I will go first if you want. So this has been a huge topic of conversation, and you kind of brought it up out of the gate, which I didn't mind on Monday because we were all sad. It was a sad day. And so we kind of needed that optimistic Trevor take. And you came out and you said, hey, guys, before they got Micah Parsons, they had a plan. They still have that team that they had before Micah Parsons. Mm-hmm. All right, now here comes realistic Ron. So
that's not pessimistic Pete.
Or positive Paul. Nope. Realistic Ron.
Okay, that's good.
So, first, it's not the same team. It's not the team that they had in that book, right? First, because they got rid of Kenny Clark. Okay, he was still a part of that defensive line. They traded him away, so not the same team. Beyond that, the team in training camp, they've had a lot of other injuries, right? So you have to look at those two as. Is this the same team at training camp? No, it's not. Just like you don't have Micah Parsons, you also don't have Tucker Kraft. You also don't have Wyatt. There's a lot of pieces, that big, important pieces on this team that aren't there. All right, that's established. Take that out of the way. The next step of your argument of, okay, but this team still has good pieces that we all said we expect this team to have Super Bowl ambitions prior to Micah Parsons. I'm here to say that team, that pre-Micah Parsons team, has not lived up to the expectations. You have to look back at this team and the frustrations that we have felt about this Packers team, and then we go, I mean, Micah Parsons did his job, but boy, oh boy, did the rest of this team struggle. They failed. What's going on with the communication between Matt LaFleur and this team, and what was that play, and what's going on with the secondary? And we've complained about a lot that this Packers team has done, and then afterwards said, I mean, Micah Parsons did what he was supposed to, and now we don't have that part to add on the end. So if you take that off, you can say, hey, this Packers team was good before Micah Parsons. We had these ambitions of going to a Super Bowl. This was a Super Bowl contending team. They haven't played like it. They haven't performed that. And so there have been way too many times this season where they have been bailed out by Micah Parsons, specifically on defense, which the defense has kept them in every game. So you take Micah Parsons out of the equation, we've been frustrated with Gary's play. We've been frustrated with Xavier McKinney. We've been frustrated with our cornerbacks. Now you don't have Micah Parsons to make up for that. And so you can focus on the fact that there was a team before we got Micah Parsons. And I'm here as realistic Ron to say, yeah, but that team hadn't been doing great. And now that's all we have.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. I found the play. I found the plan. I found the notes. I have 2.5 pages in front of me that I have thoroughly prepared. I have good news and bad news.
Okay.
Which one do you want first?
The good news.
The good news for you, Josh, I think you're right.
Oh, that's bad news.
That is bad news. The bad news is I think you're right. So this came out yesterday. Somebody tweeted at Lucas Van Ness that he has not been the Lucas Van Ness we need him to be.
Yeah, it's a troll Twitter account.
Totally.
It's if you follow Ike, Packers, whatever, go unfollow, block them. Trolls, get out of here.
So who were the Packers before Micah Parsons? They were who we are now, minus Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt. Let's start there.
On defense, on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes,
yeah.
Meaning on the defensive side, the whole conversation, who were we pre-Micah Parsons? The answer is not the same team we are today. There are some saving graces, but unless something massively changes, and this is kind of what had me thinking about this possibility, we're screwed.
Wow. This is a crazy take.
Unless something massively changes, we're screwed because I found the plan. Coming out of camp, what were the defensive storylines? Number one, can we get home with our front four? Well, who was our front four?
Yeah.
It was Kenny Clark. It was Rashawn Gary. It was Lucas Van Ness, who's supposed to have a breakout year. Now pause. The guy's battling. Mm-hmm. That's what he came out and talked about yesterday. So this is not a knock on Lucas Van Ness. I am just simply recapping what the plan was coming out of camp.
Agreed. Yep.
And Carl Brooks, who hasn't necessarily been healthy either.
Mm-hmm.
So the front four, the way that training camp started today, screwed.
Yeah.
Unless something changes. It's always next man up mentality. And so I'm not saying that those guys aren't going to get it done. Granted, some of them aren't on the field anymore. But I am saying unless something changes, we're in big trouble. Because statistically speaking, you heard Greeny say it there at the top. There is a stat called pass rush wins. Well, what's a pass rush wins other than it's difficult to say out loud on the radio?
Yeah.
It is when the rusher beats his blocker fast enough that he could affect the QB. We just got done talking about how many times we put Caleb Williams on the run. Micah Parsons had 66 pass rush wins this season. Take 5 other top defensive players and combine all of the pass rush wins. There are 67. So Micah Parsons is the one flushing the quarterback, and we saw that right away in the beginning of the year. That's what opened up Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary to begin with. And that was exciting Today, who's going to take over for the pass rush wins? Because if we're dependent on 5 other dudes to do it, we're in trouble. So that's number 1, the front 4. Number 2, who are the playmakers supposed to be? We have barely talked about the linebacking core. Barely at all this season.
Yeah.
Who are the main linebackers that we should be expecting more out of, Josh? Anybody come to your mind right away?
I mean, injury-wise.
LVN is in the front 4, though. We can't count on him.
That's right.
So there's names, right? We have rookies. We have guys that have been here a bit. Kingsley Ngabare.
Yep.
Quay Walker. Battling. Baron Sorrell. So how do we count on those guys to help make the pressure?
Names you haven't heard a whole lot of.
That's the problem.
All season long.
But something has got to give in the secondary. And if we're looking at the way this defense is today, we are screwed unless the secondary figures it out. Last year, the Packers, in terms of their secondary and the takeaways, was a completely different team than it is this year. There was some concern on depth. We know that. We've been talking about that. Hello, Bo Melton, who started the year as a cornerback, and now I'm not sure what his position is because he plays both ways, which is wild in the NFL, but I digress. There are 7 interceptions total this year for the Packers. Total. Evan Williams has 3. Xavier McKinney has 2. McDuffie 1. Keyshawn Nixon 1. That's a problem.
Yeah.
When we have the secondary that we do, that was a huge piece of the plan. Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Nate Hobbs, and the featured star, Xavier McKinney.
Who last year, almost to start the season especially, most every game had a interception that changed the flow of the entire game.
He was a takeaway machine.
This year, you don't see his name anywhere. You're not hearing Joe Buck or Troy Aikman say his name once.
Do you know what codependency is?
Yeah.
For those that don't, it's having excessive emotional or physiological reliance on, in this case, a player. There's something to be said that they saw some gaps in the defense coming out of training camp, and Micah Parsons fell in their lap. The problem is we became completely codependent on Micah Parsons to the point now where without Micah Parsons, we don't even have an identity on defense.
True. That's very true.
He was our defense.
Can I? Oh, this feels weird to say. Can I try to be optimistic instead of realistic for 1 second?
Look at us changing chairs. Please do.
I'm going to try. I don't know how this is going to go. Is it possible, maybe, that Jeff Hafley, knowing that he had Micah Parsons, continued to scheme for Micah Parsons? And so the reason why some of these guys didn't get to be highlighted as much was because it was, well, I have a beast in Parsons. I'm going to use the beast in Parsons, and just everything's going to be around him because I'd be stupid not to. And it wasn't all the players' fault, because sometimes they were being asked to do other things because Parsons was supposed to be the guy. Was that positive?
That's
so
called
hard.
optimism. How do you feel?
I feel confused and weird. And my brain, as I was saying it, was like, well, no, because blah, 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 blah. But
that's the idea, right? And that's why I think unless something changes, and hopefully here comes the optimism that you just brought up, that's what's got to change. We said it yesterday. Jeff Hafley is going to either wow us to the point we're going, damn, you know exactly what you're doing. This is impressive. And these other dudes wake up, or at least the other dudes are now scheme-wise given an opportunity to be the player that on paper we all needed to be and expected them to be.
The only person that I can't see that plan truly playing out for that has made it so frustrating watching him all season long is Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary hasn't been having an awful season, but with Micah Parsons on the other side being choked and double and triple teamed and all the things that he's had to go through, the fact that Gary isn't having the best season, the fact that we're not talking about Rashawn Gary all the time is a negative light on Rashawn Gary. And now Rashawn Gary's he doesn't have that. There have been, if you break down plays, there have been way too many plays where you see Rashawn Gary just give up on the play. And it's evident he's going, well, Parsons is getting there, right? Mike is getting there. And now he doesn't have that. So I don't think that anything Hafley does really changes for Rashawn Gary getting home. And he has just struggled, and it's just going to be highlighted now that Parsons is out.
Our guy, Matt Schneidman, put out a great article on The Athletic yesterday. And it says, in quotes, all eyes are on Gary now to shoulder the brunt of the pass rush workload left behind by Parsons. Even if Gary wouldn't publicly admit that on Sunday night when he was all in his feels about Parsons. I read somewhere else. Forgive me that I'm not able to credit where I saw this off the top of my head. Remember yesterday, Josh, you and I talked about who is the leader of this team?
Yeah.
I read somewhere that in the locker room, prior to the comments and the questions from the reporters, Rashawn Gary brought the defense together and had a quick chat.
Little team meeting.
Immediately following that game.
Yeah.
If that is the leader we can depend on Rashawn Gary to be, look out. Because now we may be able to tap into the Rashawn Gary we saw a couple years ago. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's hard for me to buy that because especially in that position and on, in this game, being the leader in the locker room and being the leader on the field are two separate things. It's a lot easier. Yes, it's a lot easier for me to believe the talk when you walk the walk. If I see you struggling on the field and then see you rallying the troops in the locker room, now you're getting into Keyshawn Nixon territory. I'm not buying the talk if I'm not seeing the walk.
I am. I think that's what leadership is. Do as I say, not necessarily all the time. Do as I do.
Well, not if you're playing bad. Definitely don't do as I do if I'm playing bad.
But to your point, was it the scheme? And listen, we're going to find out quick.
I don't think it was with Gary. I don't understand how it could be.
In order for Micah Parsons to have 66 pass rush wins versus 67 for the rest of the team, or at least the top 5 next guys, that has to be A, talent, and B, scheme. They're setting him up for success. And hopefully somewhere in all of this paper is a plan that has that scheme figured out minus Micah Parsons.
Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't understand how if you have Parsons on one side that's taking multiple offensive linemen to stop him and he's still getting home, and Gary isn't getting double teamed because Mike is getting double and triple teamed, that should be an easier path for Gary than anything that Hafley can scheme up now that Parsons isn't in there.
I think it's the opposite. I think now, so remember when Parsons dropped back into coverage?
Yeah, that one time.
Right, but there was 3 offensive linemen that just stood there going, well, what do we do now? I think the plan from an offensive line standpoint has been, let's figure out Parsons and worry about the rest later. If they don't have to pay attention, out comes a new scheme, which, by the way, there's no tape on.
Sure, yeah.
There's nothing that the teams that we're set to play, Bears, Ravens, Vikings, they have nothing to figure out what our scheme is this weekend. By the way, that's optimism because we don't even know if there's another scheme.
Right.
But in Jeff Hafley, we trust because we have no other option. But there's conversation like crazy going, hey, we're about to find out how good Jeff Hafley is.
Yeah, we're also about to find out all these guys that struggled with Parsons on the field, how good they are. Because there's no help. There's absolutely no handicap now for this defense. Parsons is gone. You got to play 100%, over 100% every play.
It's so funny that you started talking about, those guys aren't here anymore, Trev. You're dead right, man. Kenny Clark, gone. Devontae Wyatt, injured. Micah Parsons, out. Lucas Van Ness, not 100% healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's been and it hasn't just been your take that you had yesterday. A lot of the national talking heads had the same thought of, hey, the Packers had a good team prior to getting Micah Parsons. They're going to be fine. They're going to be, and I'm going, yeah, but that's not the team they have now. You can't look at just how things were, back in the summer during training camp. You have to look at how that team's performed and who they don't have anymore without Parsons. It's not pretty.
We're about to be dependent on the takeaways, I think.
Yep, X better step up.
When we come back, the conversation continues about what we just said that we want to take back, or what we said yesterday that we want to take back, or over the weekend. We call it Take Back Tuesday. Since last Tuesday, what's come out of your mouth, or maybe what stayed in your head that you're like, ooh, that was a bad take. I get to take it back. It's Take Back Tuesday. We do that next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. reminder, Wisconsin, this Friday, Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha presents Brat Bowl 3 at the world-famous Brat Stop in Kenosha. An all-day live event starting at 9 a.m. with our foes from 670 The Score and us here at the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network in one room talking about the Packers and the Bears. No eggs allowed in that room.
Yeah, I mean, what could go wrong besides everything?
Everything. You do have to be careful with eggs. And not when 670 The Score is across the room. You get to chuck them.
Yeah, that's different then. Yeah.
Brat Bowl 3 this Friday, 9 a.m., the iconic Brat Stop in Kenosha, brought to you by Ziegler's Subaru of Kenosha. For a great experience, visit ZieglerKenoshaSubaru.com and by Siding Unlimited. Visit SidingUnlimited.com for their honest price guarantee. Do people still egg things?
I don't think so. I think ever since the price went up, it's like, nah, it's too expensive.
Well, nothing got toilet paper during COVID. Shocker.
Right, well, yeah, you need that. Are you kidding me?
That.
Come on.
How wild is that? What a wild time.
Yeah. Feels like it was 15 years ago, by the way, too.
Sometimes wild things come out of our mouths, or sometimes wild things stay in our head that may or may not be great things to be thinking about. That's why we give ourselves an opportunity here on Tuesdays once a week to go, hey, we get to reel that in. Let's take that back. We call it Take Back Tuesday. And you wrote down Watson's dad.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, a lot of people on the social medias are, have been all over Christian Watson's dad, who is a very passionate tweeter as a son, or as a father of a son who plays professional football, and a son that has been through a lot in his career already playing professional football. And he said after the game, before the reports came out yesterday, he said, sorry, haters, you're not going to get to enjoy this one. Like, he's going to be back. And a lot of us were, as Packers fans, went, okay, is that legit, or is that just Christian Watson's dad being Christian Watson's dad, which is sometimes, he's flown off the handle. I don't know. And we didn't really buy it. And then the report came out yesterday that, yeah, even though he left the stadium in an ambulance, which was terrifying to hear, reports are coming back going that no severe damage was done to Christian Watson, and that he flew back with the team, and that there's a chance, not a guarantee, but a chance that he could play Saturday. We'll get more into that throughout the week of if we think Christian Watson legitimately will play in Chicago. But I still feel like there are some fans out there that can take back their non-belief in Christian Watson's dad, because whether we want to admit it or not, he was the first source to come out and say, my boy's going to be fine. Now, whether that was because Christian texted him or not, we don't know. But he had it before Schefter or before Rappaport. It was Christian Watson's dad.
This is fascinating because that take back was you telling other people that they need to take things back.
Well, I was part of it. I was part of the, okay, it is Christian Watson's dad. Like immediately kind of being like, I'm not saying I don't believe him, but also I don't really know that I can believe him. And then he was right.
Well,
kudos to him.
Relevant there, realistic Ron, because in the break you said, oh, by the way, you have something you need to take back.
Yeah.
Okay, Go ahead.
Because you said earlier in the show, teasing Take Back Tuesday, I don't think I have anything to take back.
I don't.
Well, according to multiple people that are watching us on YouTube at WI Sports Radio and texting in to the Talkin' Text line, the Nicolay Law Fan Talkin' Text line, 414-677-1250. Hey, Trev, go ahead and take back that 27-0 Green Bay win.
Oh, yeah, I should probably take that back.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen, I bet with my heart. I predict with my heart. These are the things I want to see from the Green Bay Packers. We'll do our predictions for the Bears game later in the week, but by God, I need more information this week in order to make a prediction.
Yeah.
And I will attempt, as much as it pains me, to give you a
you can say it.
Real.
You can do it.
Throw up. Realistic?
Yeah. You did it.
I hate it.
Speaking of, I do have a take back, as I'm disappointed in myself, because after Parsons went down, I sent out a tweet. I sent out my Goodnight Moon tweet.
Yes.
Now, for people who aren't aware, it's not up there. It's not even close to the Wayne Larrivee dagger. But the Goodnight Moon tweet is based on a children's book called Goodnight Moon, where they say goodnight to everything. And so I put out that tweet at the end of the Brewers season before that series with the Dodgers was done, where I went, no, it's over. Goodnight Moon.
It is not the Goodnight Moon song from Jack Ingram, I learned.
No,
go ahead.
It is not. And I put out that tweet when Micah Parsons went down in regards to the season. I jumped the gun on that, and I'm admitting it.
Okay.
As that was a pessimistic move, and as a realistic sports fan, it's not done. It's very bleak, and the odds of them making a run are insane. But I'm taking it back. It was too early for the Goodnight Moon text.
So what I'm learning about people that live in this realistic world, which I see zero value in, but I digress. When you slip into pessimism, it's very reactionary. Meaning now you're pessimistic, the season's over, our pets' heads are falling off, everything's on fire. Bam, good night, Moon.
That's not always the case. We're going to talk about this at 8 because as a realistic fan, you're optimistic and pessimistic. And so optimistic fans love to just call realistic fans pessimistic. And that's not the case. We can see the optimism side too. We just can see both sides. Sometimes, though, we slip into pessimism. That's not realism. That Goodnight Moon tweet, that was pessimism.
There it was.
There's no way around it. Micah Parsons went down, and I went, everything's done.
The line between optimism and realism / pessimism is very clear. The line between realism and pessimism is very jagged.
I can explain it more. We're going to get into it at the top of 8. I'm going to help you explain, and I've got a little sermon almost for the rest of the realistic sports fans out there.
The 608 says, LOL, what even is this take when I said no tape on our schemes without Micah Parsons? That's the truth. The team that is on the field on Saturday as a defense without Micah Parsons and without Devontae Wyatt, there is no tape of. Whatever scheme that they're going to come up with for that defense in that moment, there's no tape of that. We don't even know what that scheme looks like. We don't know what the plan is. What does Hafley have up his sleeve? We don't know. That's my point on that take, is that the situation that the Green Bay Packers are in, the realistic situation, is that it doesn't exist on paper. Nothing about the plan coming out of training camp was this defensive team and this defensive scheme that we're going to see on Saturday.
The only thing, not that I agree with the 608 here who texted that in, but the only thing that confuses me is I feel like scheming from offense to defense, isn't there more that you can just gain in general looking at a defense? Like there's not as much scheming, right? It's still you're playing zone, you're playing man. It's easier to pick apart, things that cornerbacks do wrong or, areas to expose. No?
Let me tell you a little lesson about being an eternal optimist.
Okay.
You don't go searching for information that leads you to realism.
Oh, that is, yeah.
You just leave that there.
Yeah. You live in your bubble. Whee!
Yeah,
everything's pretty. Yay! Can't do
Ziggy says, is Christian Watson's dad a more reliable source than Sham Charania?
I mean, maybe.
Are there any takebacks with the Bucs that you have top of mind? Or are you ready to just drop the nuke and be done with it?
Well, the thing is that no, I think that the talk and text line should be blown up with takes that people want to take back in regards to the Bucs and Giannis specifically. But my take was simply, I'm not listening to any of this until it's official or I hear it straight from Giannis's mouth. And everyone was like, no, he's gone. It doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. He's still here. He's still here. I'm still waiting. Brandon Snide literally one day said to me, he's gone. Did you see it? He's gone. And I went, what? And it was because he posted a photo on his Instagram of him overlooking Greece. And I was like, how is that him being gone? No, if anything, I'm tripling down on that take. I'm not buying anything that comes out until it's from Giannis's mouth or it's actually a done deal.
For very selfish reasons. Very selfish reasons. I hope we are live on the radio when Giannis is traded. Because the meltdown that you are going to have.
What a terrible take by you. You'll have to do the show alone.
Pretty much.
I'm going to be in the corner crying.
All right, when we come back, we have to talk about the Packers offense. We're a day and a half into post-Micah Parsons realism, and yet we have an offense with a guy at quarterback that is pretty good last time we checked. So what does the offense need to look like the rest of the season in order to help make up the loss on defense? It's plausible. We'll go there next. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A reminder, Wisconsin, if you missed a part of the show today, or you do tomorrow, or if it was yesterday, or any other show in the history of Inside Wisconsin Sports, for the most part, you can find on the podcast. Just go open whatever app you love listening to podcasts on, Apple, Spotify, doesn't matter. Just search Inside Wisconsin Sports, and there you will have everything that you would ever want. Listen by the hour, listen to the highlights. You can catch a full episode. It's all there. Search Inside Wisconsin Sports. That's who we are, Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios and powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. All of the conversation, Josh, is about the defense.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We still have a pretty potent offense with a pretty potent quarterback. And yesterday morning, I loved Dan Orlovsky's breakdown on ESPN's Get Up of what Jordan Love needs to do to carry this team through a loaded NFC playoffs. That was Greeny's question. Straight to Dan Orlovsky. Can Jordan Love carry this team through a loaded NFC playoffs?
There's no question that he can. I thought yesterday, too many misses in critical, huge moments. And when you're playing against good defenses, great defenses, you can't have.
So you can't have that, is what he goes on to say. You can't have that. So there are moments that he's about to highlight for us, which, by the way, I love when Dan Orlovsky breaks down NFL tape. He's very, very good.
Yep.
I hate the way he just said yesterday. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
There was 3 key points, 3 key passes from Jordan Love in that game where if Jordan Love is going to carry this team through a loaded NFC playoffs, he can't do this. Here's the first one when he missed Dobbs.
This is 3rd and 6 in the red zone against a great defense on the road. Top of the screen, balls to come out now to Romeo Dobbs. Dobbs wins. He wins. You cannot miss that throw if you're Jordan Love. You're too good of a player.
So you're too good of a player to miss a throw like that. That's, I think, in question by some, but not by me. I do believe Jordan Love is a very, very good quarterback, but he missed a couple times on Sunday that he can't afford to miss. That one, Josh, you might remember, was Romeo Dobbs in the red zone, running it out at the goal line. He won the coverage. If Jordan Love leads that pass whatsoever, that's a touchdown. Instead, he threw it behind him. He had to jump back and attempt to grab it. Now, I thought Romeo Dobbs could have caught that ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, still could have caught it. And
it was not a good throw. It was a complete miss by Jordan Love. Have you seen a lot of that from Jordan Love this season?
In those type of instances, no. Not just terrible throws. Like, I mean, your brain goes back to Carolina, obviously, the game against Carolina, but not as many as I have in years past.
So there's some improvement, which is important. Here's the big one. This is the biggest one. And this very pass was when the entire game changed. If there was a spot where the wind left our sails, we said this yesterday, it was right now when Jordan Love missed Christian Watson.
And then there's 2 interceptions in this game. One is, no question, a great play. This is bottom of the screen, Christian Watson, who got banged up yesterday. This is an outstanding interception by Patrick Surtain Jr. I'd also tell you this ball's a yard short. If I'm being candid about Jordan Love, I've seen him place the ball perfectly. He's got green grass down the field. The safety stays low. Throw this ball out there and let the big guy go get it.
Yeah, Orlovsky kind of goes back and forth there. I'll be more direct. I think one of the biggest flaws of Jordan Love over his career has been on deep passes. He does not lead his receiver. He does not put the ball in a position to where the receiver can reach out and continue running. It is constantly a receiver sees the ball, has to stop, turn around, and it's a 50-50 ball. Don't always make it a 50-50 ball. And maybe I'm just a entitled Packer fan that has enjoyed play from Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, specifically Aaron Rodgers, who could do that and could put it exactly where the receiver needed it. But it has always seemed like Jordan Love is throwing the ball a little too high and a little too short on those big passes.
Especially with Christian Watson, who is fast.
Yeah.
Like stupid fast. He wins those go routes almost every time until the ball is short. I would love to see Jordan Love overthrow some of those.
Well, he has,
He has, but I'm saying more now than short.
The ones that he overthrows, they're not even close, though.
Yeah.
It's not like the receiver misses it by, as Dan Orlovsky said, a yard. It's like, okay, he threw it 5-6 yards over his head.
Sure.
And it's not just in this game, if you're looking for recency bias. Go back to the game against Chicago. That Bo Melton touchdown that was insane that we celebrated for a week, that was a split second away from being an interception because it was in the air for so long, and Bo Melton was just waiting for it. You got to get the ball. You got to lead the receiver. And Jordan Love just has not been good at doing that.
That was the last time in the game he did this, right? Oh, nope.
Nope.
And the one that kind of ends the game, you're going to have a little crossing route. Jordan gets away with this at times. He's falling back, kind of drifting away, sidearm throw. There's green space there. See where it is on the receiver. It's behind him. And then that ball gets popped up in the air and picked. And so I'm not telling everybody this is the consistent thing, but if they're going to make up for some of these injuries, he can't have those misses.
As we were talking about the deep passes, I was like, oh, the good news is he's really good at the crossing routes.
Yeah.
Well, until he's not.
Well, but more than not, like we've seen him throw it to Watson. The one against the Bears was a crossing route where he led Watson, and then Watson was able to continue going and turn the corner and take the ball into the end zone. So I know it's possible for him to throw the ball while leading the receiver. It just seems like on those deep passes he can't. He's off his back foot. He's launching it up into the air. And I'm happy that they're being more aggressive, right? They're giving these receivers an opportunity to make the big play, but it's a lot more difficult when you're setting up 50-50 balls.
There's been a lot of conversation of Jordan Love being in the MVP conversation. I have a question for tomorrow that I'm going to do a little deep dive into between now and then. Have the yards after the catch made Jordan Love better than he is?
Okay.
No, I don't know the answer to that yet.
I have feelings and opinions, but we can talk about that tomorrow.
That would be reactionary, wouldn't it?
That would. I do want to point out that a lot of this being about Jordan Love and the offense, when I still think that so much of this is on the defense. This can't be, if this Packers team is going to be successful, it can't be us going back to the days of Aaron Rodgers putting up 45 points and still losing the game.
Well, it might have to be, though. That's the point. If we understand where the defense is at, we understand. I mean, that the whole point of the conversation is take the defense out of this, completely out. We know the pain we have on defense. We don't know the scheme. We don't know the players. We understand. That's over here. What does the Packers offense need to do so that we have a chance if indeed our defense isn't who it needs to be? And what they can't do for sure is this. They can't throw short. They can't have tip drill passes that turn into INTs. We can't lose the turnover battle because of bad throws and mistakes on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Nicolay Law fan talking text line, there's a lot of opinion on this. The 414 says Jordan Love's problem with underthrowing his receivers is that he throws off his back foot all the time.
Right. Lean into it.
I hate that. So you know how we draft early and develop, right? And the whole idea of bringing Jordan Love in early, which was a really good idea because it worked with Rodgers, was to have Love learn from Rodgers. Question.
Yeah.
How many times in the later years of Aaron Rodgers did we see him step into a throw?
Not that often.
You said never wrong.
Okay.
Never. Like he did not step into his throws. Yet go back to early Aaron Rodgers, that's all he did. He was throwing darts.
Yeah, but also Aaron Rodgers throwing off his back foot and Jordan Love throwing off his back foot are different.
Maybe. It's been working for Jordan Love. If you look at some of the touch...
Yeah, it hasn't been terrible, but these problems exist because of it.
A lot of the Broncos game to the 262 says Love was throwing low, short, or behind receivers. Can't happen. Can't have it if we're going to win.
Yep.
The 262 says agreed. I feel like he puts too much air under the deep balls. The receivers have to make bigger plays rather than great throws. Bennett in Brookfield. That's the point. How do we give the receivers the opportunity to make big plays?
Yeah.
608, Eric in the Prairie. The talk of Jordan Love being the MVP went out the door in Denver.
That might be true. Might be true.
Well. Is it redeemable?
I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think not based on Stafford and the Rams doing what they did in their game Sunday too. I think it's all but gone.
If the Packers make a run and the offense proves that it can be bigger than the loss on defense, I think it's still plausible. If the Packers offense takes over and the defensive issues are not something that are in the forefront of the conversation, I think it's still plausible. I don't think it's completely dead, but it is certainly not well, to say the least.
Yeah.
Optimism versus realism, and why Josh thinks it's going to be a long week for either side. We'll get to that next. Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stay here. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
This is the worst thing that can happen to this team. You could say, oh, losing your quarterback. Malik somehow keeps this team alive at some point. It's Micah. They became the favorites when they added Micah. Having this happen, non-contact injury, this is brutal. He was the piece that separated them from everyone in the NFC because he made everybody else do their job, do it better. And then there's the tone setting that he brings, the FU that he brings to that defense that they so need. The Packers, they're a win at Chicago away from moving back into the 2 seed. So has the sky completely fallen? No, but this is brutal. I will say there's a chance they play at Lambeau, right? Until at least the NFC title game. That will be huge for them. So let's not act like the season is over. I mean, because if you really look at like what's going on in your house, another game where you can't like get comfortable with them. And that's what sucks about this Packers team. You can't go into a game. At no point are you comfortable. And at no point are you like, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the consistency. And now consistency. Now you don't have Micah.
Was there a consistent point there from Kay Adams, or was she kind of all over the place?
She was going through it, and I loved it.
Okay.
It's a perfect tie into what we're about to talk about.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. Watch us live on YouTube and Twitter at WI Sports Radio. Follow along with us there as well. We're not hard to find. At Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. One side of that Twitter is very optimistic about life. The other side is very realistic about life, and that's the conversation now.
Think positive, Frank. You be positive. I'll be realistic.
That's right. You be positive, Trevor. I'll be realistic.
Okay. I'll thank you, because that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Listen, the world needs fans and fandom across all of it. There needs to be balance.
Says the realist.
Says the realist. Yes. As the minister of fandom, I have to talk through this because this is a very difficult time for fans. There's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of reaction, and the way that you fan, regardless of who you are, is showing. You're showing it right now of who it is. If you're an optimistic Packers fan, like yourself, Trevor, it's pretty easy to see where you're sitting. It's, hey, this team still has a chance to do some things.
Yeah.
They lost Micah Parsons. They're still in a good position. This didn't happen in week 3. It happened much further down the line. This team has opportunities. They're going to be fine. They can figure it out. Blah, 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 blah. I want to say for the realistic sports fans out there, which if you're like me, you don't necessarily get to choose. I don't choose to be a realist. It's just how I fan. It's a tough week for us because it's a lose-lose, right? If you're a realistic fan and you're saying, boy, I'm really worried that this season is done and that this Packers team needed Micah Parsons and that they are not going to be able to get over the injury bug and they're going to go into Chicago and there's a chance they could lose all this. And you're right. Then the optimistic fans are going to look at you and go, you were right. Are you happy? And the answer is no. No, we're not happy. We don't want to be right if that's the case. Then on the other side of it is maybe you're going, okay, but there is still that chance that they could win. There's a chance they could pull something off, even without Parsons, this defense could step up. And if you're right, as a realistic fan, you're right about that side of it, you're going to have all the optimistic fans going, see, I told you that you had nothing to worry about and you overreacted too early and that this team could still pull it out. So really, as a realistic fan this week, you're in a lose-lose because there's not going to be one Packers fan that's going to be happy that you were right, including yourself, if the Packers lose. And if you're right on the other side of the coin of going, yeah, I knew there was a chance, the optimistic fans are still going to be in your face. The only people that are truly the losers here, no matter what, I guess, are the pessimistics because, like I said, that side of the coin, if you're right, everyone's still sad.
Somebody just texted in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, that says, that sounds more like a pessimist than a realist. A realist would look at the other teams and see we have just as good of a shot as anybody else. So
we always do.
But what's the opposite? So it's interesting because I don't live in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy that you're comfortable there. I would not be. I would get out of there as fast as I can.
True.
What is the opposite of realism?
Fantasy.
Is that true?
Yeah, but it's like the extremes on either side. So, like Brandon Snide thinks like the whole thing's done, it'll be done going in next year.
That's pessimism.
But if it's extreme pessimism or extreme optimism, in my mind, is the opposite of realism. If you're going, this team has a better chance to win the Super Bowl now that Micah Parsons is down. We're even better now. Okay, that's the opposite of realism.
Silly.
Well, that's the opposite, right? You're living in a fantasy world. There's no way that's even a possibility. Or if you go, without Micah Parsons, this team will never win another game. They're going to lose the first 4 games to start the next season. This team is nothing without Micah Parsons. You might as well sell the team. Okay, that's also the opposite of realism. The realism is the in-between. It's the saying, yeah, you're optimistic and you might be right. Or you're pessimistic and you might be right. It's living in that world.
I'm trying to think of what the opposite of optimism is.
Pessimism.
And it can't be, because I would spend 0 time there. And yet I allow myself to see both sides. I just spend more time in the optimist world. Meaning, I look at the Packers season, I acknowledge what is, but I'm not letting go of what could be.
Yeah.
And therefore, at the end of the season, if the reality of the situation is what it is, that's the opposite of optimistic, in my opinion. The opposite of optimism is reality. And there's a difference, being a Packers fan, and you as the minister of fandom hopefully will agree, that reality and realism or realisticness isn't the same as well. Because reality is what is. Mm-hmm. Optimism is what could be. Realism is playing both sides of the fence.
Correct.
Pessimism is standing on the negative side only.
Right.
And indifference is that's just not a fan.
If you're going into this game on Sunday against the Bears or the rest of the season and you're saying this team is done, the season is over, that is pessimism, because the season isn't over. Regardless of what you think is going to happen, the season is not over. They are playing at least 3 more games. That is reality. That is what is going to happen. I don't know if they're going to be able to win those games. I don't know if they're going to lose those games. But in the world of reality, it's the season can't be done. They still have 3 games left.
A lot of opinion on the realistic versus pessimistic versus optimistic scene that is the current landscape of being a Green Bay Packers fan. Let's jump into this on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. What is your take on how we live as Packer fans right now? Should we be realistic? Is it okay to be optimistic? I certainly don't think it's okay to be pessimistic. That's just not a place I like to live. But hey, listen.
I'm not going to tell people how to fan.
Well, but human beings love negativity.
That's very true.
We're very much more comfortable in the land of negative than we are in the land of positive. That's why people are scared, you-know-what-less of success. We all know what failure looks like. Been there, done that. Super comfortable there, actually.
Especially
I know how
in terms of sports.
Well,
because very rarely does it end the way that you want it to.
That's my point. All of this is about sports, but I know exactly what failure looks like. 99% of our lives as Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks fans is in the land of perceivably failure. Our losses far outweigh our wins at the end of the season. And how do you land? Where do you land? How do you feel as fans out there? 414-677-1250. Josh, let's start with...
I got to defend myself. Go ahead.
Well, there's a couple takes here that don't agree with you, but that's, you know what that is? Realism.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it. I understand.
Let's start here.
Okay.
Nick in Greenfield. Here's a realistic take.
Yep.
Josh is more of a worrier than a realist.
Yeah, worrying is part of being a realist because you're seeing all the different outcomes in your head. You're seeing what can go wrong. You're seeing what can go right. You're thinking about all the possible outcomes. And when that's the case, you're worrying about the worst case scenario. My head is playing out, and I'm not the only one. I mean, Tommy Wirtz, our buddy who does the show at the end of the from 5 to 6, and he also produces the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thundernellis, said, I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Watson plays and then gets injured. You know it could happen. That is a scenario, right? And so if you're thinking about every possible scenario, you're going to worry about some things.
But yet, is it realistic to worry about the unknown? That's what worry is.
Well, sure, but it's the possibility of the outcome. So you're looking at it all. The Packers could go in and just stun the Bears and be the top story on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of Micah Parsons, who? That could be the headline. Man, would that be sweet if the team just goes into Chicago and beats them, and Chicago thought this was a cakewalk because they didn't have Parsons, and the rest of this Packers team just shows up. That is a possibility that has run through my head, and God, would I love it. Would I love to see that.
The 262 says, isn't that the point of being a fan? Seeing what's in front of you and being hopeful, and they didn't say this, but versus what's behind you and having no hope. And then they say optimism is greater than realism. The 920, if they lose to Bears, okay, this is pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose to the Bears, fire the coach, promote Hafley to head coach, then hire Aaron Rodgers as the offensive coordinator and hire Al Harris as the D coordinator.
Okay.
Pessimism.
Yeah, that's getting into you're really playing that out, bud.
The 262, it's 1 week at a time, and this week is Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago already thinks they won this game, and what a perfect time for Green Bay to go to Chicago and kick their arse.
There's not a better time.
That's optimism.
Well, that's not true. If they play, see, this is what I'm saying. This is what just happened in my head. I just said there's not a better time, and then my brain went, well, that's not true, because if they face them in the last week of the season, that's the best time, or not of the season, in the playoffs. If that 2-7 matchup is Bears-Packers round 3, that would be the best time.
Is that hard for you, Josh, as a Wisconsin sports fan, to acknowledge the optimism without looking at the pessimistic side?
To acknowledge without looking at, yes.
Yeah.
To acknowledge, no. To acknowledge without looking at the pessimistic side, yes. I have. I have to look at both sides.
Weight. You give them equal weight.
Though. Yes. If I didn't, I would be Brandon Snide. I wouldn't be able to watch the games. I would literally.
Because you would live in the land of pessimism.
Right. I would hate everything. I still watch the games. I get super excited. I scream, let's go! Every time a good, positive thing happens, I celebrate the good just as much as I cry about the bad. I'm balancing. It's about balance in my mind. And it's because I can't live in your world. I wish I could. I wish I could just be optimistic all the time and live in a bubble. It's not. Well, tell it to my brain, because my brain still sees the other side.
Jason in the 92, pause, by the way. You mentioned yelling at the TV during games.
Yeah.
I watched the game this past weekend with my buddy Ben Giffen, who screams at the TV, and I loved it. I loved it.
It's fun. That passion, man.
My boy was pacing.
Oh, yeah.
And towards the end of the game, he was already packing up. He's like, I think we should probably just start the truck. We should probably just get it. It was fantastic. By the way, I would call him an optimist. All right, Jason in the 920. A few more before we got to take a break and get to our guy, Matt Schneidman. Josh, this is Jason. Josh, I would say your realistic take has a lot of pessimism in it, which doesn't seem like a realist to me. How would you respond?
My defense to that, Jason, is when you're doing a radio show with, an optimistic Owen, then you are bringing the other side of the conversation. If I was doing a show with a pessimistic Pete, then I would be bringing up, but the other side of the coin says that we have these opportunities still. So if I'm looking for just optimism, then I have Trevor for that. He already stated all the optimistic reasons, outcomes, and things to focus on for this game. We're bringing both to the show.
The 715 says we have to keep, we are, because it's who we are. That you're not making a choice to bring realism and pessimism into the show, because you don't have a choice.
Right.
That's just who you are.
They exist. The outcomes exist. Some of them are bad. Some of them are okay. Some of them are great.
We have to keep optimistic because we have to stay optimistic because we still have depth on our roster. 2, 3, 4 guys do not make up a team. We have to be spoiled for so many years to acknowledge that one person makes up the team.
Well, and that was kind of the argument, and I loved what Kay Adams had said to start this segment. Because you said, is there a point there? And it was, yeah, she was going through it, just like all of us were, because it was brutal losing Micah Parsons. And then as much as you wanted to say this could be the end for them, you can't, because they still have chances. They got a big chance. They have a chance to move right back to the 2 seed and host playoff games. All but the NFC Championship could go through Green Bay if they can win the NFC North. That is huge. Micah Parsons or not, that is huge for this team. And that's what makes this game so big. And we've known that for like a month and a half. It's just now on Saturday, it's here.
Rhino says it's hard to be optimistic when coming up short in Wisconsin sports. Understood. And I would say that's what being a sports fan is. I'm not telling you how to fan, and I'm saying every fan, specifically here in Wisconsin, I would give you that it's been a little more painful, but I don't know anything else. I'm not a fan. I have no idea what it's like to be a Browns fan. You know who we should ask? On Thursday, joining us on this very show at 7:25 a.m.
Yeah.
Our guy, Joe Thomas, will be here on Thursday, and we're going to ask him what it was like playing for the Browns when you live, like me, in the world of optimism. Joe Thomas is a pretty positive cat. Plus, he got himself in some weird space with the Bears last week. We're going to ask him about that, too. We'll end with this one. There's so many more. We're going to try to get to them in our chat with our guy, Matt Schneidman, coming up next from The Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where he lands as a reporter. Is he optimistic? Is he pessimistic? I would imagine he's more of a realist.
Absolutely.
I think
it's so much easier for media members because you're just reporting on what is.
Must be nice. The 920 puts it this way. We could get hit by a nuclear bomb at any time. I'm not running around worried about it, though.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine said to me once, I'm worried about nuclear war. That's what he said. You know what I said? As an optimist, I hope it hits me in the teeth.
I said, bye-bye.
I'm not going to feel a thing.
It's true.
If that's going to happen, right here.
Yeah.
Put a big X-ray on my bald forehead.
Yep. Hi.
Nail it. Or I'm just going to live my life and not feel the worst. All right, when we come back, that's in sports and life, by the way. There you go. Have a tip of the day. Matt Schneidman, our guy Schneid, he joins us on most Tuesdays, and we don't take it for granted. When he jumps on next, we're going to talk about his take on the Broncos, plus what should we expect on both sides of the fence from the game this weekend against the Bears, and what's to come on the new podcast that he has with our boy John Kuhn called The Tundra. That's next. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's awesome to have so many people chiming in on this conversation from literally all over the state of Wisconsin.
Yep.
Whether it's Wausau or Duluth Superior, Milwaukee, Green Bay, and the Fox Valley, so many people have a take on optimism versus pessimism versus realism versus whatever else exists in the world outside of those things. My buddy Joe did a great job of summarizing this pretty well before we get to Matt Schneidman. He said, this is how he looks at it. He's compared, by the way, pause. This is the same Joe that had neck surgery.
Oh, yeah. How's he doing?
Doing great.
Oh, I love that.
Doing fantastic.
Hell yeah. Attaboy.
He's got a story to tell me about something he dreamt while he was under anesthesia. I can't wait for that.
Ooh.
I know.
Hopefully it's an optimistic.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Comparison of finding $20. Okay?
Yeah, it's nice.
An optimist is walking through a parking lot and finds a $20 bill. We're at Lambeau Field. We're walking out of a game, and there's $20. And I go, optimist, I go, oh, let's go. $20. Oh, my God, I'm buying beers at the bar and doing all the things. Like, this is fantastic. Celebratory. Let's go. The realist is like,
hey, this is $20. I got $20. Nice.
Literally it.
Yep.
And the pessimist goes, well, that's cute. I need 80 more because I really need 100.
Right. The if I found $20 after a Packer game on the ground, it is win or lose that game. That is making me happy that I found $20. If
that's not what you just said.
Hold on.
Hold
on. If I lost $20 after a Packers game, it would be, and now on top of everything, I lost $20. That's what I'm saying. You live in both worlds.
But that's not what you just described.
Annoying.
You know what?
It's annoying to all of your friends, the people around you. No one likes you as a realistic person. They want you to either be on your side or not.
Put them on the screen. Put them on the radio. We need a mediator. There he is. That's
Matt
our mediator. Matt Schneidman from The Athletic. I have Matt, say something.
Yeah, I just changed my microphone. I remembered this time.
Unmute, baby.
We got him. Let's go.
Let's go. Well done. Matt Schneidman joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Schneid, if you would have heard the conversation in the break and probably the conversation for the hour after the show, Josh and I can go pessimist, realist, optimist, every which way you can think of. And yet here you are as a journalist. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
a journalist can't be any of those ists. You have to be what? What is your take on when are you allowed to have opinion versus fact versus futuristic? Like, how do you do it?
About this situation in particular or just in general?
Well, I think the whole conversation came up, Matt, because we were talking about how Packers fans are handling this moment, right? You have certain fans that are like, why is everyone so upset or sad? This team still has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And then you have fans that are going, the season is done. The season is over. They shouldn't even play another game. There's no point to this season continuing. Micah Parsons went down. We lost. It's over. And then you have me who's in the middle that is realistic and goes, oh, things do not look good. But the season's not over. They're still playing football games. And I feel like but I'm going to let you speak for yourself. You live more in that world as a journalist of being in the realistic world. You view things as they are.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. I try not to let your emotion dictate how I write too much. I see how Packer fans are because I'm the same way with the Yankees, and I respect kind of the guttural reactions. But what I determined after Sunday's game, and I thought this was the realist, and I think that is, the proper word to use here for putting ist at the end of all these words. I think it's fair to be down about this situation. You just lost your best player. You had Super Bowl hopes. It looks like, based on reports, that Watson, Tom, and Evan Williams are going to be relatively okay. Might miss this week. Who knows if they miss a couple, especially with Watson. But I think it's fair to be down. Can they still go on a run? Sure. It's literally possible. I think their realistic Super Bowl hopes are dashed now. I've been wrong before. I am willing to be wrong again. I probably will be. I don't know if I'll be wrong on this. But I think it's absolutely fair for fans to be pessimistic. It's their best player tearing his ACL. And that's after arguably your third most important player tore his ACL a couple weeks ago. So it's fine for that emotion to take over these 48 hours since the game and say, oh, season's over. There's nothing to play for. Our run's over. That's part of being a fan. So I'm never going to tell people how to fan. Well,
Darn right you're not.
If they're being completely delusional. But then I think now maybe it's fair to reset and say, okay, we had high hopes before Micah got here. Maybe not Super Bowl hopes, but we had high hopes before Micah got here. Do we have enough to maybe win a shootout? Can we go on a run? Maybe fans can look at it more neutrally like I do now. And I think the fair conclusion to come to is, yeah, it sucks. Their realistic Super Bowl hopes are probably over because Micah Parsons is injured. But there's still the possibility that they go on a run because of some talented guys they still have on defense and because of what Jordan Love and the offense can do, especially if Christian Watson is fine.
What does the offense need to do to overcome the defensive woes without Micah Parsons?
Yeah, I think what they need to do is consistently put up touchdown drives. It doesn't have to be every single one, but they need to have long drives to give the defense a rest if the defense is on the field for long periods of time. They need to not be as bad in the red zone as they were on Sunday against the Broncos so that, 3 Packers drives can just be overcome by one Broncos touchdown drive. I mean, you got to finish some of these drives with touchdowns instead of field goals. So I would say, and John and I talked about this on our pod last night, I think that more onus lies with the offense necessarily over the defense here. You can look at Rashawn Gary. You can look at the secondary needing to cover for longer if the pass rush doesn't get home as quickly. But the offense is probably going to be required to score more and score more consistently. And for the better part of the last 2 months, they've been solid. But they need to continue that when it matters most here.
Matt, we talked earlier in the show about Jordan Love and how, there's very, very little room for error, and analyzing some of the throws that Jordan Love has made, and specifically some big throws, and him having those throws not leading the receiver, and it seeming like you can't have those mistakes that kind of led to that interception and almost an interception with that catch that Bo Melton made against the Bears. Do you see that being an issue? Has that been an issue for Jordan Love on throwing the deep ball, or are we just kind of overanalyzing Jordan Love because we need him to be perfect?
No, I don't think it's been an issue at all. I think you look at something like the Christian Watson throw in Detroit, or some of the Watson plays against the Bears. Those are considered deep balls too. I think that the ones where they're absolute bombs down the field, the percentage is never going to be high on those because they're the highest difficulty of throws. I think Rob Domofsky wrote a story last week where he said Jordan Love's completion percentage on throws of at least 20 air yards was the highest in his career. The deep ball's been solid comparatively this year. On that play, he got hit when he threw. I mean, I think the story would be different if he threw that from a clean pocket and underthrew Christian Watson. I mean, he got hit when he threw because Anthony Belton's guy got pressure, so Jordan had to step up in the pocket, and then Aaron Banks' guy kind of curled around and hit Jordan Love as he threw. So I don't really put that on Jordan Love. It was like an inch away from being a perfect throw. Now, the one to Dontavian Wicks that was on the interception, that was a little behind Wicks. Coaches might say Wicks still should have caught that because he got 2 hands on it. But just in general, Jordan Love's been terrific with accuracy this year. He's been taking care of the ball at a much better rate than he has at any other point in his career. In terms of the whole season, he's been pretty clean the second half of his first 2 years. But I think he's been really accurate even on some of these high difficulty throws deep down the field. So I don't think it's a problem at all. I think Jordan Love's accuracy, especially on some of these chunk plays, is the farthest thing from the Packers' issue right now.
The Packers unknowingly became codependent on Micah Parsons, in my opinion. He's not there anymore. And now a defense goes, Well, I guess we all have to step up. What does that look like for this defense moving forward?
Yeah, it's a collective, I think, and it might be the cop-out answer, but that's what Matt LaFleur said after the game, and it's true. I don't think you can ask one specific guy. Like when Tucker Kraft got hurt, we knew Luke Musgrave couldn't single-handedly fill that void, but it was about Jaden Reed coming back and supplementing what Musgrave can do. It was about Watson maybe getting some of those explosive plays and coming back, and instead of relying on Fitzpatrick. I mean, it's about the collective when you lose a guy of that magnitude. So I'm not putting all the onus on Rashawn Gary. It's going to need to be Van Ness and Inagbari, and maybe Brenton Cox comes back. Maybe Baron Sorrell plays some more. The interior guys, like I said, it's going to be on Valentine and Nixon to play more like they have for the majority of this season, as opposed to how they played on Sunday, because they're going to have to cover for longer if the pass rush doesn't get home as quick. Maybe it's on Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker to get home on a simulated pressure from the A or B gap if Micah Parsons isn't rushing from there. It's going to be on everybody on that defense. And like I said, it's probably the cop-out answer, but I think it's true just because you can't replace a guy like that just with one or two guys even.
Matt, we also tried talking about, okay, if Jeff Hafley has to scheme differently in this game and how we haven't really seen him have to do that, right? It not being he purposefully isn't showing or scheming towards some of these other guys because Micah Parsons is on the field. And if you have Micah Parsons, you're going to scheme for Micah Parsons. Is that the correct mindset? Is there like a ton of adjustment with scheme that Hafley can do that isn't just to where it's the talent and play on the field, but we also see kind of some dramatic and obvious changes from scheme from Hafley?
Remember last year how the Packers started Hafley's first season as defensive coordinator wanting to get home just by rushing 4. And they weren't able to. So they had to drum up some of these exotic pressures where you have Xavier McKinney coming off the edge, or you mug 7 guys at the line of scrimmage and drop a defensive lineman and a linebacker in coverage and then send Edgerrin Cooper through the A-gap. Like some of these exotic looks to generate pressure, and they look like blitzes, but they're not because you're still sending 4. They've done some of those this year, like against the Lions. They had one where they dropped Micah in coverage and rushed McDuffie and McKinney and pressured Goff on a 3rd down for an incompletion. So they could use more of that to simulate pressure and give teams more to think about. But I think what you lose, in addition to everything else that you lose with Micah, is I'm not sure they have guys. I know Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness have lined up inside and outside before, but you don't have a guy who can affect the quarterback from all over the line of scrimmage. Like they could move Micah wherever, and he could beat a single team, a double team, a chip, a thump, whatever, and still get home. If you're just rushing guys from 4 stationary spots, for lack of a better term, they're going to either need to win their one-on-ones more, or you're going to have to get funky schematically like I was just talking about.
Matt Schneidman, Packers beat writer for The Athletic and co-host of the Tundra podcast, a fresh one out today, it sounds like. You and John Kuhn recorded last night. Last one before we let you go, Schneid. Thanks again for jumping on. I was doing some playing with the Athletics NFL playoff predictor thinger. 91% for the Packers to make the playoffs, and then you could go down a rabbit hole and a half of all the different scenarios that would have to play out. In your opinion, do the Packers make the playoffs, and or if they implode and don't somehow make the playoffs, Matt LaFleur is gone, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Now he'll have the benefit of doubt of some of these injuries, but if they absolutely implode and miss the playoffs, I think it's absolutely up for consideration that he loses his job, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. They can clinch a playoff spot this week with a win and a Lions loss against the Steelers. They can get back to first place in the division with a win over the Bears this week. And then, I mean, they already control their own destiny for their first home playoff game since the 2021 divisional round. So I get that it's all doom and gloom, and I think it should be to an extent. But when these guys say they still have everything right in front of them, they're technically correct. The season's not over. They still control their own destiny to win the division for the first time in 4 years. maybe that deep run isn't as realistic, but who knows? If they can get in, anything can happen.
So well said.
Optimism. I think that's optimistic. We'll let them be
It's
realistic.
acknowledging the pessimism.
Neutralistic.
Saying the optimism. I love it.
Matt Schneidman, follow his work on The Athletic online. I do. You need to as well. Also, check out the Tundra podcast. You won't regret it. Schneid, we appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. When we come back, what's up, Wisconsin? I have a very optimistic view of my day.
Oh, yeah?
Do you?
I think I have a realistic. I'm just going to go down exactly what I have going on.
I'm going to find something that you look forward to in life.
Yeah.
I swear I will.
Oh, there are things happening today that are good things.
And?
There are things I'd prefer not to do.
Okay.
That's the life of a realist, baby.
Oh, man. Oh, I would just never get out of bed. I just
hey,
wouldn't.
That's being pessimistic.
No, it's not. That's being realistic. I could never be that way, ever. All right. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Hang on.
Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor and Josh want to know. What's up, Wisconsin? What's your plan for the day? What are you doing tonight? Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Oh my God.
This is what's up.
What is that?
This is the title town here in Green Bay, New Year's Eve, TTNYE. I looked out my studio door and all I saw was like the Queen of New Year's Eve standing outside my studio.
Oh.
And I went and inquired, and this is what you get.
The Queen? The Queen is there?
I think she's the Queen of New Year's Eve.
You have
I'm not
royalty.
sure. I took a picture. I'll post it to Twitter.
Okay.
This is they gifted. Wow, look at that. Look.
I know.
Hair?
No hair.
Wow.
It hides it all really well.
Bad.
It's not great, bud.
It's that's very pessimistic. Oh God. I think I figured it out, by the way. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh. I think I figured it out. We were talking in the break about the difference between optimism, pessimism, realism, and all the other isms.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Brewer season.
Yeah.
And you said, because I asked you if you're ever satisfied. Are you ever satisfied? And will you please give your answer as to your take on the Brewer season?
I said when it comes to sports, rarely, because at the end of it, rarely does it end in positivity.
So you said something about the Brewer season, though. Go specific. I wish I could have taped that. No, that's shame on us for being bad radio guys and talking off the air.
Yeah, I said when at the end of the season, when it ended, right? I wasn't happy. I was upset. I was pessimistic. I was mad. I showed all of those emotions as a very emotional sports fan that they were that close again. But then when you look back, I was very happy. It was a great season. They set a bunch of marks. We got coupons for burgers. We set records, franchise records. There were a ton of exciting moments that we're going to talk about for years to come. You can't look at all of those moments and say, "Oh, that season sucked." No, tons of good things came out of it.
I'm so excited. I just got it. Okay.
You
view life through the lens of but. I view life through the lens of and. I'm going to say it again. You view life through the lens of but.
So hard to not make a joke right now, but keep going.
I view life through the lens of and. So you just said, "Hey, dude, tell me about the Brewer season." And you went, I was pissed. The end of the season, I mean, it was just all the things, right? Then you said, but the season was awesome.
Yeah.
So you ironically started with the end and then went back to the positive. I would say this. Trev, how was the Brewer season? Dude, it was the greatest Brewer season on the history of planet Earth in my lifetime of Brewer seasons. And it didn't end the way we wanted it to. See the difference?
Sure.
It doesn't negate. So in my world, in my land of optimism, I acknowledge that it didn't end well. And holy mother, was that fun.
Yeah. So you focus on the positive overall, even though it's not the most recent.
But the difference is the word but. And so if you were to say to me, Trev, I love that hat that you just had on, but you're bald as the day is long. It negates the compliment that you just gave. So if I was to say the Brewers season was the best ever, but damn it, we can't win a World Series, it negates everything that came before it. So I am let's celebrate more than we notice the failure. And you focus on I think you may focus on the outcome and whether negative or positive. And then in that scenario, you start with the negative and go back to the positive, where I would go, you know how many great times I had with Andy and Ben and Chris, all my neighbors, all my guys, Brendan, like the greatest summer of all time, sitting in these backyards watching these Brewer games. And it didn't end the way we wanted it to. I got it. All right. Whew. All of that.
You feel better?
I feel like we should probably go live after the show now.
and just
unplugged.
Yeah.
Inside Wisconsin Sports Unplugged.
That's coming up next for sure.
Doubt it.
Hey, what do you got coming up tonight?
Literally nothing. And that's so amazing. I have to do the podcast today, the Inside Wisconsin podcast, and then I have to edit said podcast. And my world never shuts off. I mean, when you do sports talk, whether it's on the podcast side with the people or the radio side with all the things that are sports today, it never shuts off. I live this. So I'll be constantly scanning Twitter and so on, but rare is the night in our life where we have nothing on the calendar, and those are fantastic, fantastic family nights. What about you?
Yeah, so I have a podcast that I'm doing tonight. That's not super uncommon, but I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'm super pumped for my 9-year-old Jordy, who has Taekwondo, but he has a test to like go up to the next level. So
nice.
Yeah, so Jordy like just got into Taekwondo, and I'm just so happy that he's, passionate about something. He's finding something. And so this is like he's going from the introductory, hey, does your kid like it, to all right, now we're going to get into some more of the disciplines and things of that nature. And so he has the test tonight, and I'm really excited for him to do that and hopefully lock that in and do whatever the next step is. I'm not familiar with the different levels or what all goes into Taekwondo. Is it a belt
thing or is that karate?
No, I think they're both belts, but Taekwondo is definitely belts, the colored belts. So I think this is like the introductory to that. I mean, Taekwondo goes for a long time, but I'm excited that he's happy, man. That's awesome.
Did you have one of those like super duper hobbies when you were young? Did you have were you in Taekwondo or were you soccer or what did you do when you were a kid?
I was bowling.
Bowling.
I was always
from
bowling.
A kid on?
Oh yeah, bumper bowling is how I started. When everyone else got to play basketball at 6 and 7 years old, I was bumper bowling. Never had a choice.
Meaning you never were given the option to play any sports?
It wasn't until like I was 10, I want to say 10 or 11, that it was, hey, like through school, it was, hey, now we're, you can be on the basketball team. You can play softball, I think they had. But otherwise it was bowling, because that's what my dad did. My dad is a Milwaukee and Wisconsin Hall of Famer in bowling. That was when that's the case, your kid bowls. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. You follow in thy footsteps, son.
That's
Any
right.
other questions?
Yeah, that's the end of it.
Looking forward to tomorrow. So many other things to cover in the land of optimism and realism in regards to the Packers and Bears. It is again Packers-Bears week, plus our favorite moment of the week. And I think I can speak for Josh when I say this. Doug Gottlieb will join us at 8 a.m.
Yeah, this will be good.
He's the best. He talks to us like we're friends, not like he's the head coach of GB, not like he's the radio host. We can ask him anything, along with Would You Rather, which is what we do in sports and sporting life on Wednesdays here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Our thanks to all of you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Today was amazing.
Yeah.
And we will do it again tomorrow.
A lot of fun.
Also, thanks to Matt Schneidman for joining us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Guest Hotline. We appreciate you. All right, Wisconsin, we will see you tomorrow on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Because we're not done yet.
Clay Matthews here. When my contract was up, that decision, my next team, was everything.